Well, we got here an 1,100 pound transmission jack. I wouldn't use this for 1,100 pound transmission, I can tell you that right now. But most transmissions are, I don't know, 150, 200 pounds. This would easily handle it, supposedly. It shouldn't have a problem with something like that. I'll be critical of the rating 1,100 pounds because, sometimes I see these Chinese jack stands and jacks and stuff, and I look at the ones that they made in the USA back about 40, 50 years ago or so, and they'd be rated like 2 tons a pair, and the USA ones that were rated 2 tons a pair, they'd probably be, 10 tons a pair for the Chinese ones. But for your normal transmission in your car, even a cast iron transmission, it's only going to weigh a couple 100 pounds, and this jack will do the job. So I'm getting ready here with Kuda's Garage and Dixie Motor Oil, Hazard County, USA. But this is going to be for my El Camino when I got to pull the clutch out of it. The last time I put a clutch in there was, I think, was 1992 or 93. And I never even changed the flywheel. I did change the pilot bearing, the thrust bearing, the clutch bearing, whatever you would call it, the clutch and a pressure plate. But I never changed the flywheel even. I think it was a little burned up back then. I don't think the clutch is really that bad, but since it's been in there so long, I'm going to be winding up changing it out. So I figured to get a jack. The last time I used, I was able to borrow a transmission jack. It was a little bit better than this in some ways because, well, of course, you got this. Jacks it up, right? Any which way you want. And then here you can lower it. And it's got, where you can lower it, you can lower it pretty smooth and slow. Because it's pretty, it's pretty precise. And then here, you got, let's see if you jack it up a little bit, do a little more. Of course, you can adjust, where the transmission sits in here. And you have this chain that goes over the transmission, and you lock it in here. Yeah, you can lock it in here. So it doesn't fall off. Yeah, normally, I took transmissions out with regular floor jacks. Kind of scary, but usually I had help with me. Because, it's a balancing act and all this kind of crap. You can tie some ropes around it. But this is a lot wider than a regular floor jack. And of course you got this. We could tilt it forward. See? Tilt it back. Normally it'd be under there, probably be tilted back slightly. And you can go left and right. And it's got some slop in here, I noticed that. Which is okay, Doesn't have that much. I don't really, I would never trust this for 1,100 pounds, even though it says 1,100 pounds right there. Oh my God. It must be the breaking point when it's perfectly balanced on there. It just doesn't look like it would be an 1,100 pound jack to me. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't think so. But it's more than sufficient for, regular car transmission. If it's an aluminum transmission, I don't know, what are you, about 150 pounds? If it's a cast iron transmission, maybe a couple 100 pounds. If it's if it's a big truck transmission, I don't know, 250 or so. So, it's well within, I guess if you took this rating and you said 275 is a real safe, 300 pounds would be the real safe limit on it. It's well within the parameters of most transmissions. So, but I'm gonna have to do the clutch on the El Camino, and after I do the cam. So this thing, I'm gonna need a transmission jack for. I need a transmission jack for it. Last time I did do it with a professional transmission jack on a lift. It was actually at the auto hobby shop on base, in the Marine Corps. And that made it a lot easier, man. I can tell you that right now. You put the whole car on a lift, and you had this nice freaking hydraulic. You're standing up, pull the transmission out, change the clutch, blah, blah, blah. And this is actually going to be pretty easy, too. So, but that's after I do the camshaft and after I do some of my other projects, like put this flag up and stuff I'm still working on. And I had to go, when you got it in, it had all the bolts with it, with the casters, the 4 caster wheels. You know, I guess there might be something, what, you know, maybe it might be a good idea if you can lock this in place or something, but not really. I can tell you one thing, this is a hell of a lot wider than a damn floor jack, and I would not be too scared to take out the transmission with the floor jack if I wrap some ropes around it or something, but you know, if you're doing this work yourself and you got a cast iron transmission and it weighs a couple 100 pounds, you can do it, but it's a hell of a lot easier with something like this. So I'm glad I got this because you know, between the El Camino and maybe, I don't know, the Samurai here, this SJ413 Jimny 1300 with you know, this already has a rebuilt transmission and transfer case in it, but who knows, maybe one day I might have to take it out to put a front seal in it. I got this thing. So, and it was $159 delivered. So that was the other thing, is because some of these transmission jacks are, they can get some cheap ones. Like, again, I don't trust this 1,100 pound theoretical rating on here. But you know, it may be okay. I guess the only thing I could think of, not that it'd be super important, well, like I said, it's only $159, but some of these transmission jacks got things where you can you jack it up and you can put a pin in there and lock it in place, so you know it's not going to come down. Now, as long as your hydraulics are good, you're not going to have a problem with that. I don't think there's going to be a problem with it. Looks, you know, I mean, it looks plenty strong enough for your average car and truck transmission. So I could say, and you know, these things, I put these bolts on facing up, so if I see if they, you know, if they start loosening, I could see that they're going to loosen up, what's going on with them. I'm actually going to probably put a drop of Loctite on each one of these bolts to make sure the casters are going to come loose. I guess if there's a fail point on this thing, it could be the caster wheels. I'm going to have to watch for that, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to break that easy. We'll see how it works out when I go to christen it and actually start using it. But this should make it a hell of a lot easier to freaking pull out the transmission. I mean, much easier. Because once you wrap this around here, and you know, it's on there pretty tight, and you got these things locked in there, you know, your transmission's not going to go anywhere. So, pretty good tool to have. And the other side of it is, too, I mean, it really could be a bona fide jack if you know, at 1,100 pounds, lifting one corner of a car is probably like 500 pounds. If you had these things off of it, I guess it doesn't go that damn low because of that thing there. But, you know, it could also be a motorcycle jack or something, too. It's another thing. Usually anything I buy, it's got 12 different uses besides what they tell you. But you can see how high this damn thing goes. That was another thing I was looking at. See that sucker? Okay, that's it. That's got some serious height. So, you know, you can have your car jacked up pretty high, and you got plenty of room to work underneath there, and you can bring the transmission all the way down, and you'll still have enough room to roll the transmission out from under the car if you need to do so. Now, if we're just changing the clutch, you know, I can leave the transmission underneath the car and just change the clutch out. Just leave it on this damn thing. But if you needed to roll the transmission out, you know, you can do it with this because it goes up high enough where you can lift the car up pretty damn high, where you can have it where you can roll the transmission out, and it'll go pulling damn low enough where, you know, transmission, like I say, this thing, this big knob like this, you can bring it down kind of slow. See? Then if I want to bring it down quick. So, transmission might be that high. You know, I'd be able to scoot it out from the front, no problem. You know, the car's jacked up in the front. So, the other thing is, I don't know if I want to do this, but it depends. You know, I'm more interested in getting a land, you know, fixing, doing improvements to my land up in Tennessee and stuff. But say I wanted to put an M22 transmission, Muncie rebuilt M22 transmission that's built better than the original with the Z ratio gears and a Ford 9-inch rear end to end with the GM housing, 11-inch drum brakes with 325 gears. This would help me not only get the transmission up in place and change out the transmission, but it would also help me put, you know, the rear end in place too. You see? So there's a lot of different things this thing can actually do. I mean, you know, it's not just a transmission jack. You know, it's up to your imagination. And the fact that this thing tilts this way and tilts that way, that's another advantage too. And it's got a lot of lift to it. Some of the transmission jacks I saw didn't have that much lift. And I didn't like that. But again, you know, I think the 1,100 pound rating is a marketing thing or some crap they put out there. I can't see this thing. You know, maybe it could last 1,100 pounds. But I'd be scared with this thing lifting 1,100 pounds. But I don't know what transmission weighs 1,100 pounds, man. I mean, not no car. I mean, I don't know what a truck Allison transmission weighs. Probably that thing weighs a lot. But I mean, a cast iron Saginaw weighs 200 pounds. I think a Muncie weighs 140. I don't know what the hell would a truck's transmission weigh? 300. I mean, sure as hell they ain't gonna weigh 1,100. I don't think. I don't know what the hell they weigh, but I don't know what the, you know, I mean, what is that for a semi truck or something? 1,100 pounds. But yeah, you can use it for various things too. I mean, it's not just for the freaking transmissions. Like I started thinking about the motorcycle, or maybe if you got an ATV, you know, something you got to lift up, something you might need to lift up that the floor jack might not go that high, or it doesn't have a wide enough base. Like this has got a much wider base on than a floor jack, or maybe you got to lift something up where you got to have that base on an angle like this or like that or something like that. That's where these tools come in handy. It's never just a plain transmission jack. You know, it could be a differential rear housing jack or some bullshit like that. You know, it's a lot of different things. It could be an ATV jack, it could be a motorcycle jack. You know, I think the motorcycle frame would fit right in there. You know, I can open those up just a little more. The motorcycle frame would fit right in there, man, no problem. So, you know, and you lift the whole damn bike up. So it's, you know, it's a lot of different things in one shot. So, you know, it's not just one thing. That's one thing, you know, every time I buy tools, I always realize there's a lot of multiple reasons for them. So, anyway, just like Cooter would say, make do with what you got. If you don't have it, get something that's got multiple freaking uses, you know. Everything I get's got multiple uses. So that's what you got to do. That's the way you got to roll. Cooter's Garage, right? Anyway, over that.